All right, we're going to call to order the Board of Supervisors regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, October 21st. We are meeting in the Board of Supervisors hearing room on Melody Lane in Bisbee. The order or deletion of any item on this agenda is subject to modification at the meeting, and any item listed is open for discussion and possible action. Please note that some attachments may be updated after the agenda is published, meaning presentation materials displayed at the board may differ slightly from the attached versions online. Members of the Cochise County Board of Supervisors will attend in person or via remote conferencing. Members of the public may also attend the meeting via Microsoft Teams or the mobile app. The board may permit public comment during the discussion of any item on this agenda to speak on an agenda item during the call to the public. Complete and return the speaker request form to the clerk of the board prior to 9 a.m. on the day of the meeting. Note, some attachments may be updated after the agenda is published, meaning some presentation materials are going to be different than those attached versions online. We'll begin with an invocation from District 1, Mr. Gabe Valenzuela. Are you here, Mr. Valenzuela? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. So let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we come before you thankful for the opportunity to gather here today. We thank you that despite the ongoing challenges and difficulties the world is facing, you are always with us. We ask that you guide every thought, every word spoken, and every decision made during today's meetings, and that your will be done. We ask that your wisdom, grace, and mercy shine upon our community and citizens of Cochise County today and always. Please give us grace to grow in service, love, and respect for one another. We thank you and ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Oh, you got back? Sure. All right. All right. Next, we will do a roll call. District 1.
Crosby's here.
District 2.
Gomez is here.
District 3, Antonori is here. All supervisors are present and in person. All right, we'll begin with a call to the public. We have 3 people that have requested to speak. First up is Mr. George Adams. Mr. Adams.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, we usually come here to talk about the roads. There's a couple other things I want to talk about this time instead because we seem to be approaching the road one way or the other. The one thing I would like is the county to provide a few loads of rock or dirt or something to fill the washes on that road out there. The other thing of it is I need to speak to this young lady on the phone at some point or have a meeting with you at some point. I've tried several times and we seem to not get connected. I'd like to work on that. And the other thing of it is I'm trying to bring 2 businesses here. I'm getting some resistance, we'll say. And I would like to know who to talk to about that. The one business I want to bring is I've worked on hospital equipment and other equipment most of my life. I want to train some people here. My largest customer is in Phoenix. They're very large medical, don't want to mention their name, but I'd like to get some people down here to do the work, but I can't train them because where I want to put the business is on the road that we can't get people down. So anyway, how do I get a hold of people to talk to?
I will meet with you because it depends on where, like you said, you want it in the county,
Good.
not in the city. So we'll talk.
All right.
Okay.
All right. You have my phone number on the form.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Mr. Alfred Kern.
Well, my name's Alfred Kern. I live at 3460 East Greenwash. And I've been coming here for over 30 years now, or 3 years now. And it's my opinion that it is part of your job is to do things for the people in the county. All right? It hasn't been done. I don't know what you people are doing, but you're not doing things for the people of our county. Catherine has basically, she's been the first person sitting there that has actually come out and talked to us. Okay? Ann English was not a person to work with us. And Tom, you've been here for the whole 3 years, so let's try to get something done. Like I said, we have a 97-year-old couple that live up in the mountains where we live at. If they have to call an ambulance and that ambulance can't get up there, there's going to be big problems. We had a fire up there last year. The fire department couldn't get up there. It's not. So I've been saying this for three years. I don't know what else I can say, or if I'm talking to the right group. If there's somebody else out there that we should be talking to, maybe I'm talking to the wrong people. I know Doug mentioned about our washes on our roads. It wouldn't take too much to dump a little gravel in those washes and grade our road. So, like I said, it's not rocket science. It just needs to be done. And you don't even need to do it like every other week, like some of the roads. You know, every 4 or 6 months, come down with a grader.
I thank you, sir. Since he mentioned both of you guys by name,
Okay,
you want to comment?
Yeah, you know, one of the biggest problems is how little money we have from the HERF to be able to do the things that you're asking us. And I have a list of about 100 different people that have the same issue. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm trying to learn the ropes. I'm trying to, we're going to have to go up to the state legislature to ask for more money for our county roads because it's all tied up. And mostly Maricopa and Pima get the amount of money. I just went to an ADOT meeting and it was pretty clear that there's not going to be any money for roads from ADOT, from the state of Arizona because they're just, the pot is getting emptier and emptier. So we're pressed with a little bit of staff, very little bit of money, and how do we help everybody? Because Cochise County is mostly roads, dirt roads, primitive roads. I'm looking at have to drop my sister's road. I'm looking at having to drop, Mr. McDonald, who's 78 years old and has been living out there, in I forget the name of his ranch. There's some really, really crucial decisions that have to be made because there's not enough money. So I hope to see you guys November the 6th as we talk about this and talk about what funds we have. We have, a lot of new people. It takes a lot of time, and I never realized experience to grade these roads correctly. Everything costs money, and we only really have $81 million to provide for all the services, health, jail, judges, everything. So we have to try to be very, very careful with the money we spend and try to spread it around to so many people there's 3,000 some odd county roads, and, that we're supposed to take care of, and we just don't have the money. So we have to go up to the state legislature to try to get more money for our community. And that's one of the challenges we have to do. So I will talk with you guys. I have some really hard decisions to make. It's not easy to have to drop your sister. She's been living out on this road for 30 years. Or to drop somebody like, Sam McDonald. So I hope you can bear with me. We are trying to do our best. I'm learning the ropes. I'm 9 months into this. And if, it's a lot of between the jail, between a lot of things, there's a lot of money that we have to figure out how we can spend so that everyone's happy, and nobody's always going to be happy. So we're addressing this, and we're doing the best we can. Just give me a little bit more time to figure out how we're going to do this, and I'll talk with you guys. Okay. Thank you.
Did you want to say anything, Mr. Crosby, since he mentioned?
I gave all my community enhancement money and my extra road mileage to Kathleen.
Did not give you road mileage. And believe me, the money you gave me isn't going to do anything.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Miss Allison Morse online. Miss Morse, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm Allison Morse from Portal, and I do appreciate the opportunity to share my concerns today about the jail district tax fund. Specifically, I'm wondering why voters have received conflicting information. I submitted a public records request well over a month ago asking for the amount of all funds collected, the current balance, and an itemized list of all expenses. Over $17 million was apparently collected from the 0.5% sales tax. The list of expenses that I received totaled less than $500,000. This did not include the jail district maintenance of effort overrun, however, that I have been told earlier was $1.1 million. Why has this not been disclosed publicly? And why have we been told that this board has not spent any of the jail tax fund? This was stated recently on a live radio show. The truth is, this board has spent several $100,000 of the jail tax revenue for chin planning, Phil Bordone, and veneer construction management. Why isn't the board being truthful, transparent, and consistent with its communications about the jail tax? Furthermore, the board has been spending hundreds of thousands of jail tax dollars without even knowing if voters will approve the tax a second time around. We just don't know that yet. Presumably it will pass, but there's a possibility it won't. You've been spending all this money, and we don't even have an outcome yet. This is all of great concern, and in my opinion, it undermines the trust of voters. Finally, I'm curious why the jail district has an MOE overrun of $1.1 million, but the sheriff's department has an excess of almost $1 million from last year's budget. Why is this, and where did that money come from? Why is it so hard to get accurate and timely information that reflects truth and reality? All of this is extremely disturbing and disheartening, and I hope I am provided with the facts very soon. Thank you.
I'm gonna respond quickly to that. So, Ms. Morse, this board never said we weren't spending any money. What we said was the money that was generated solely from the 0.5-cent sales tax, once we all took office back in January, we would only spend the funding related to the construction and the planning related to the jail. The maintenance of effort funding is coming out of the general fund. So when you see line items for the jail district that are in the demands, and I just talked to staff today about this, all of those are maintenance of effort, which is coming out of the general fund, not out of the sales tax. The sales tax revenue has been sequestered, as I've said, with the treasurer. The only time we sign demands and approve demands, those demands are specifically related to planning and construction of that jail. So the Chin Group was related to planning for the jail. The new owner's rep that we hired, Veneer, is related to planning and construction of the jail. Those are reasonable and within Title 48, the statute, approved for us to spend that money on, and in line with the commitment the board has made not to spend any of that tax revenue on anything other than costs related to planning and construction. So that's where that comes from. So
Can we just also add
Supervisor
that?
Gomez said on air that
hang on.
And then the other thing too, when the alarm system went, we have suppression but not the alarm, and the state inspector was going to shut us down. We paid for that out of the general fund, $500,000, did we not?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have not spent money since we've taken on anything that was other than came from the planning and construction. So that $500,000 that we had to spend came out of the general fund.
All right. Next, we will go to
is simply not true. That's not the public
Ms. Morris, your 3 minutes are up. So next up is Ms. Veda Phelps. Hello, Ms. Phelps. You're here to talk to us about Arizona Works.
Arizona at Work.
At
Yes,
Work, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Arizona at Work.
I'm Dana Phelps. I have one of my board members, our Vice President, Catherine Bullock, is here. She can answer the questions when I get stuck. So, okay. So hopefully you all have a copy of our annual, losing my paper, our annual report. I know the things I set on. The first thing I want to know is how financially secure are they? Because you all are responsible for us. So if you take your book, the very last document in the book is our audit. If you turn to the very last page, it talks about findings and question costs, and we have absolutely no findings, no question costs. We're considered a low-risk auditee, which we're very proud of. We've had no findings in the last 7 years, so we're very proud of that. So feel comfortable in that you're secure with us, and the entire audit is in the book. So if you look on page 9, not the audit page 9, because it's confusing because there's nothing. It shows a copy of our performance. Department of Labor gives us performance indicators. And if you look at the indicators, we have met or exceeded every one of the indicators the Department of Labor wants us to make. And we're very proud of that too. Also, of course, in the book is our how many, we have four different locations, Sierra Vista, Douglas, Clifton, and Safford. And in the board packet is the number of people, let me find what page it's on, sorry about that. On page 15, it shows the statistics of our centers. As you can see, in the year 24-25, we had 16,438 clients come in and work with us. Not every one of them went through training because we don't have that much money for people to go through training, but that's how many people actually entered the system and got help with different things. Depends on, there were different things that different people got. In the board packet is a list of our board members. There are a lot of success stories. We have one young lady who was pregnant at age 18. She had to drop out of school. She didn't get to graduate. She has now 3 children. Her husband is in the prison for drugs. We put her through training to be a nurse, and she's now making a living wage, and she's able to take care of her children. And she's so proud of herself, and we're very proud of her also. So that's just one success story. But there are several success stories within your packet, and I hope you get an opportunity to read them. I'm not going to read them to you. I also had put on your desk a group of papers. The first one is our last 5-year allocation for our program. As you can see, we've lost over $1 million in the last 5 years to do what we do with all 3 counties. We're looking at, and Mrs. Bullock can also tell you, we're looking at every way that we can cut our expenses. Also, on the next page, I don't know what you all feel about the big, beautiful bill. We think it's big. We don't think it's very beautiful, but it's the president's budget has cut WIOA down to almost nothing for the entire country, not just us. And the second page, it talks about, that's the president's budget, that talks about the budget for the House and the Senate. And the House has pretty much thrown out all of it. The Senate is talking about level funding for next year, which we appreciate. Then the House talks about, the next page, House talks about $712 million for adult programs. But then it talks about rescinding the money. So they're going to give it to you, and they're going to take it away, and they're going to give it to you the next year, which does not help us in this year. So we're still waiting to see, since the government is not in working right now, We don't know. We assume that the three budgets will be reconciled and negotiated, but we don't know what that means because there's nobody around who knows anything about anything. That's very discouraging. But my ask for you guys today is the next page has our federal and state representatives in Congress and in the state. What we'd really appreciate is if you would write a letter of support to your Congress people. The next pages are copies of letters that we have sent as examples of what you could write. And we would hope that either as a group, you could support our programs and ask for somebody to pay attention to the funding. And hopefully, we know that volume counts a lot with these legislators that are elected. So we're hoping that we can get as many letters as possible into them to get our funding either level funded or an increase in funding. We have a lot of needs in our three counties. We had a young man, I was in our Clifton office the other day, and a young man came in. Since I'm 82, everybody's young. But he was in his late 30s, early 40s. He did not have an email address, which I found very unusual. So our person there, her name is Marina. She helped him get an email address. She helped him fill out an application for Freeport McMoran, and she got it submitted for him. And she said, now watch your emails, because when it'll come back the day that you come in to do an interview. And he goes, what's email? She had just got everything set up. So she took his phone out. She showed him how to get the emails. In fact, he came in a week later, did his interview in her office, and was hired. So he's now working for Freeport. Didn't even have an email address. I didn't even think that was even possible with an adult at this point in time, but it goes to show that there's quite a bit of need in our three counties. Are there any questions?
I'll go to you guys first. I got a few, but I don't know if Mr. Crosby has any.
Thank you for your continued
Yeah.
diligence, Ms. Phelps. It's been nice to see you many years now.
I know, you probably get tired.
I'm glad I'm young, as I'm 66.
Well, my daughter is almost your age. Are there any questions for me or for Ms.
No,
Bull?
go ahead.
So I was looking through your book, and I guess it's indicative of Cochise County. What I saw was a lot of significant government job sort of connections in there. So there's all the different municipalities, the county, Fort Huachuca, and I didn't see a large amount of private sector jobs, specifically in the job fair side. And I didn't see a lot of companies that are near the borders of Cochise County. Is there an effort on your part to reach out to like the Sky Island Partnership folks and the various chambers in the neighboring counties to try to get some more private sector folks in here? Because I mean, nothing against government jobs, but the private sector jobs are the jobs that pay the bill. And I saw it seemed like more than half of the job opportunities in that book were going to government jobs within Cochise County. That's what I was seeing. It didn't seem like there's a significant outreach to the private sector.
We have, and I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Eric Grisham. I go places and they say, oh, he works for you. Yeah. But he is our business outreach person, and he's out there all the time talking to private businesses.
Okay.
But we had, at our last job fair, we had 67 employers, only 3 of which, well, I take it back because we had the sheriff's officer. Only a very small amount were government jobs. The rest of them were private sector.
Okay.
And our spring job fair is usually around, we work with contractors up on Fort Huachuca because there's a lot of jobs up there, and we prefer to have our own people there rather than have to get the H-1B visas for them to work,
Sure.
get employees. But our main job is let's get people trained, let's get them skilled, let's get what the employers need and get them out there and becoming private citizens.
Right.
And making money. It really makes my heart sing a happy song whenever I hear that one of our people got a job, and particularly in the private sector. But if we can actually put more in here about where we actually we belong to all the chambers of commerce. We attend all their meetings. We go to a lot of meetings.
Okay.
So we used to be I called our,
I looked at a couple of the job fairs that had listed all the entities that were at those job fairs, and that's where I was getting this disproportionate feeling because I saw a lot of all the local governments and whatnot that were, nothing against them. Again, everybody's got to fill slots. We've got vacancies that we've been trying to fill, and they're hard to fill. Again, in Cochise County, it's a little tougher to find qualified people. So getting people trained to fill them positions are definitely important. But again, it's just, I know Ms. Gomez, Mr. Crosby, and I are trying to bring in more private sector economic development into the county because we are, as I know Mr. Crosby has said a million times, it seems like most of the jobs, at least the good paying jobs, are government jobs in this county, and we're trying to flip that in the other direction because that is a problem when the county is heavily reliant for economics related to government.
and one thing that's really amazed us, and I work with Jason Bowling with SSVEC, they have really good jobs, really high paying jobs. He will hire 3 people and maybe one shows up the first day of work. So we're having all kinds of problems. I don't know why that's happening because people are complaining there's no jobs. We get them set up with interviews and so forth. And they may go to the interview, but then they don't show up the first day of work. We've had that happen in our own office. And I don't know why. To me, a job is a job. At least you start out someplace. So, but if you can think of anything you'd like to see us be doing, we'd be more than happy to do that for you or with you.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
No,
Nope.
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Kathleen, would you like to say anything?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Ms. Phelps.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Next up is the consent agenda. Mr. Crosby, do you have a motion you want to make?
Yes, sir. I move that we remove consent agenda item number 2 to be handled separately from items 1 and 3. Would you like for me to make a motion for consent agenda items 1 and 3?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve consent agenda items 1 and 3.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on 1 and 3? None? All right. Motion before the board is to approve consent agenda items 1 and 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda items number 1 and 3 are approved 3-0. All right. Next up would be, can I get a motion for consent agenda it is now just agenda item number 2. Can I get a motion for agenda item
Certainly.
number 2, please?
I move we approve the reappointment of Robert Montgomery to Planning and Zoning Commission representing District 1 effective January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2029.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Do we want Ms. McLaughlin to make you're listed on here as a commenter there, but that's it. So the motion before the board, any discussion on the motion?
No, sir.
All right. Motion before the board is to approve the appointment of Robert Montgomery to the Planning and Zoning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. And Mr. Montgomery is reappointed. All right. Next up is...
When might he be sworn in?
we could do him, we can swear him in at the end, I guess, when we get to the, Sharon, help me out. You want to do it at the end or?
We can do it at the end or now, whichever you prefer.
What do you want to do?
Now.
He's your guy.
No.
You want to do it now?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it now. All right. Step up here, Mr. Montgomery. Put it this way. Around the backside. It's up to the dais there.
Microphone.
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. So repeat after me. We're going to share this mic. I
Robert Montgomery,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and defend them
and defend them
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of Planning and Zoning Commission
of Planning and Zoning Commission
according to the best of my ability.
according to the very best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Thank you.
4 more years.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you, sir.
To live that long.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right. Let's move on to agenda item number 4. So, I got to get my special, can I get a motion to move agenda item number 4, please, while I'm digging through here?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve Series 13 Farm Winery New Liquor License Application submitted by Salvatore Joseph Tirito for Tirito Dairy and Wines at 6148 South Kansas Settlement Road, Wilcox, Arizona 85643.
Okay, so I'm going to now open the public hearing for this agenda item.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm
I wasn't quick
going
enough.
too fast. All right. All right. So I'm going to open the public hearing for agenda item number 4. We can get an explanation from the clerk of the board, please.
Chairman Antonori, members of the board, this item is for a new Series 13 Farm Winery liquor license submitted for Torito Dairy and Wines located in Wilcox, Arizona. The application's been reviewed and recommended for the approval by the appropriate departments, and property taxes for the parcel are current. The notice and application were posted as required by state law, and no formal protests were received. Board staff is recommending approval.
All right. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this agenda item or online? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? None? Okay. With that, I will close the public hearing, and then we will have a vote on agenda item number 3. So all those in favor of approving agenda item number 3, the Series 13 Farm Winery Liquor.
4.
Or I'm sorry, 4. I'm sorry. I apologize. Agenda item number 4. I put a line through it. Agenda item number 4. Approve the Series 13 Farm Winery Liquor License application submitted by Salvatore Joseph Torito. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Liquor license is approved 3-0. All right. Next, can I get a motion for agenda item number 5, please?
I move that we approve Series 13 Farm Winery new liquor license application submitted by Joseph P. Monks for St. Isidro Vineyards at 3465 East Fawn Ranch Road, Pierce, Arizona, 85625.
Second.
All right. So now I will open the public hearing on this item. Ms. Lowenheim, can you explain the item, please?
Yeah, Chairman Antonori, members of the board, this item is for a new Series 13 Farm Winery liquor license application submitted by St. Isidore Vineyards in Pierce, Arizona. Again, the application has been reviewed and recommended for approval by the appropriate departments. Property taxes for the parcel are current. The notice and application were posted as required by state law, and no formal protests were received. Board staff is recommending approval.
All right. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on agenda item number 5? Going once? Going twice? No one is speaking. So with that, I will close the public hearing. Next, the motion before the board is to approve the Series 13 new liquor license application submitted by Joseph Monks for St. Isidore Vineyards, which is agenda item number 5. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Okay. Can I get a motion for agenda item number 6, please?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve Series 18 Craft Distiller New Liquor License application submitted by John Mike McLaughlin of Arizona Wineries, LLC at 8401 Bell Ranch Road, Wilcox, Arizona, 85643.
I'll second.
Second.
Sorry, I got it. All right. So with that, we will open a public hearing. Ms. Lowenheim, can you explain it, please?
Yes, Chairman Antonori, members of the board, this item is for a new Series 18 craft distiller liquor license application submitted for Arizona wineries located in Wilcox, Arizona. The application's been reviewed and recommended for approval by the appropriate departments. Property taxes for the parcel are current. The notice and application were posted as required by state law, and no formal protests were received. Board staff is recommending approval.
All right, is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on agenda item number 6? Anyone? Anyone? No one? Okay, with that, I will close the public hearing. I just got one question. This one says craft distiller license. Is he going to be making spirits as well or just wine? Out of curiosity, just my own.
A craft distiller license is specialized in an in-state producer license designated for distilleries located within Arizona that produce distilled spirits.
Okay, so he's going to do both wine and whiskeys. Okay, cool.
You guys are drinking up there in your district.
Yeah, yeah. There's okay, so with that, any discussion on the board? None? The motion before the board is to approve the Series 18 craft distiller license application submitted by Mr. John McLaughlin of Arizona Wineries LLC. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Okay, next up is agenda item number 7. Can I get a motion to move agenda item number 7, please?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve or deny the appeal by Mario Angela Robles, applicant, docket SUA 25-0 of the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial docket SU 25-18, a special use authorization request to allow guest lodging and special events at 1819/2044 Wild Horse Lane, Supervisor District 3.
I'll second it. All right, with that, we're going to go to Mr. Taylor for an explanation.
Morning, Mr. Chair and board members. This is the staff presentation for docket Special Use Appeal 2503, an appeal of the Planning and Zoning Commission's disapproval of docket SU 2518, a special use authorization request to allow guest lodging at special events. Property is located approximately 4.5 miles north of Benson. And the property is located within an area zoned RU4 with an established rural residential development pattern. The original docket, the special use docket for the guest lodging and events, the project site is approximately 108 acres total, which encompasses 3 parcels. Special use for the guest lodging and special events pertain to 40 acres specifically, which was the southern 2 parcels. Proposed use is up to 15 guest lodging units, as well as event facilities, specialty farming, and outdoor recreation. Did include a definition here for as far as guest lodging goes, that we would consider hotels or motels, resorts, guest ranches, group camps, and campgrounds as guest lodging. Recreational vehicle parks would be a totally separate use, as would bed and breakfast land uses. Staff recommended conditional approval of the special use. The commission voted 2-5 on a motion to approve, which failed. The opposition stated among the dissenting commissioners was due to neighborhood opposition, incompatibility and consistency with the Tres Alamos area plan. The applicant provided site plans as well as concept plans. This one shows the entire 100-acre project site. The southern portion would be the location of the guest lodging and the event center. The northern portion would be typically for rural uses that would be allowed by the existing zoning district. And this is a close-up on the southern portion of the site showing the guest lodging units as well as the proposed event center location and parking areas. These are a few drone images. This would be viewing to the southeast with the subject parcels highlighted in yellow. This is an image viewing to the east showing the single-family residence on the property. There's also a chapel on the property. This would be viewing to the west. And this is a close-up of that southern portion where the majority of the activities requiring the special use would be occurring. The zoning regulations identifies criteria with which to file an appeal. The applicant is is required to provide reasons why they believe the decision or any part of the decision was erroneous, arbitrary, or capricious, or an abuse of discretion by the commission. Secondly, written presentation and additional testimony and evidence, a full explanation of the additional testimony and evidence that will be submitted, with an explanation as to why this was not presented during the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The applicant is also required to state all reasons why the applicant believes the decision or any part of the decision was erroneous, arbitrary, or capricious. In this particular case, the applicants provided 3 reasons. The commission focused on public input and area plan consistency, overlooking the applicant's plans to address neighbor concerns. An arbitrary and capricious decision due to selective interpretation and disproportionate weight given to public comment. Insufficient time to review and respond to public input prior to the commission meeting. The applicant intends to provide additional information that expands testimony and evidence that was either not provided or overlooked during commission deliberations of this item during the August 13th public hearing. Staff executed the notification process between 19 September and 1 October, mailing notices, posting the property, and publishing a legal ad, and the notification process for an appeal is exactly the same as it was for the original special use application. Staff sent notices to 11 property owners, receiving 3 responses in favor and 8 responses in opposition. We received an additional 3 property owner responses outside the notification area that also responded in opposition. The applicant did meet the application submittal requirements. Staff did recommend conditional approval of docket SU 2518. Not in favor of appeal. The zoning regulations authorizes the Planning and Zoning Commission to render special use authorizations decisions, and the Commission considered special use factors contained in the zoning regulations for this docket. The board has 4 choices. One would be to approve the appeal and reverse the Commission's decision. If that's the board's action, staff would recommend including the original conditions of approval, which are outlined in the staff memo. The board can also deny the appeal and uphold the Commission's disapproval of docket SU 2518. The board can modify the Commission's decisions, i.e. approving fewer guest units or approving the lodging component but not the special event component, which is an effective modification where you would reverse the Commission's decision but make some changes. And the final one is the newest addition to the board's options, which is to remand the special use back to the Commission to consider new information. And that's a provision within the zoning regulations that took effect within the last few weeks. Mr. Chair and board members, this concludes staff's presentation of docket special use appeal 2503. We're available for your questions.
All right, Mr. Chair, thanks. Okay, at this time, I'm going to open a public hearing. And we will get the applicant's statement. So Mr. and Mrs. Robles, if you would please come up to the podium and provide your statement, please.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Angela, and this is my husband, Mario Robles. We are here asking you to approve the special use permit for Ever After Ranch, our home, and the life we're building together. Approving this permit is not about one ranch. It's about opening a pipeline of revenue that strengthens every corner of Cochise County, from hair salons and grocery stores to florists, gas stations, hotels, and restaurants. This is how communities grow responsibly, by keeping revenue local, strengthening the tax base, and creating opportunity without sacrificing our rural way of life. This is not just a project. It's our home, our livelihood, and a place for our family and friends, as well as a place for our guests and visitors. We are not building something temporary or speculative. We are building a life and sharing it with the community. Our activities and offerings include guest lodging, weddings, and equestrian services, along with select farming such as flowers and specialty crops. We also offer outdoor experiences like farm-to-table dinners and seasonal activities, all of which are supported under RU4 zoning and allowable with a special use permit. Some of the background on the business portion is our financial projections demonstrate the strength of our plan. In a moderate scenario, we expect revenues of about $865,000 in year one. In a best case scenario, revenues exceed $1 million in the very first year. Even at a moderate level, by year two, this plan brings millions of new dollars annually into Cochise County without shifting the property's rural character. Moving on to the more technical part of our application and this appeal, public notices were sent, the public notice was posted, and we have to consider the amount of public opposition we have received. I expect that after my presentation, you will hear those against this permit argue that because our economic impact is strong, it must mean we're large scale. Please see through that manipulation. What those numbers actually show is efficiency. We design a lifestyle that produces significant value to ourselves and others without overloading the land and while strengthening our community. Special use conditions ensure operations remain contained and responsible. Revenue flows into Benson's restaurants, shops, and tax base, and we maximize the synergy of our land. Although we have demonstrated our ability to steward this land responsible in both our appeal application, which is 32 pages long, and our previous presentation, what you will likely hear from opposition today is not a balanced discussion. Through the submitted responses, a one-sided course designed to overwhelm this board with repetition, unmerited claims recycled from one speaker to the next is very evident. That same tune is drowning out the solutions and mitigation efforts that we have already presented. Volume does not equal validity. I respectfully urge this board to ground its decisions in facts over repetition, law over fear, and fairness over misinformation. This isn't a large-scale sprawl. It's a smart, contained, and beneficial use that strengthens the way of life Cochise County is known for. We are protecting and showcasing the authentic ranching heritage of this land. We're not replacing it or diminishing it. This permit gives us the ability to share that heritage with others in a way the county can truly be proud of. It is my hope that this board recognizes the opportunity before us and grants this permit as a step towards strengthening Cochise County. Do you have anything?
Covered it all.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rose. All right, next to speak, we have Mr. Robert Bray. Oh, sir, you have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Did you receive that packet to them over the photographs? I noticed you've got 6 photos over in there. If you request to answer any question, I'd be happy to answer anything you got here. First and foremost, your Planning and Zoning Commission studied all aspects of this proposed change. Fully discussed it with the applicants. It's public meeting. Heard testimony from several knowledgeable residents and firmly decided to deny a special use permit. Why on earth would you consider overruling your appointed commission? 5-2 vote. When Supervisor Antonori met with us after the commission's decision, we repeatedly asked him to review that meeting, video, and study the minutes so that he would be fully aware and prepared on the matter in case it was to be appealed to the supervisors. When we met with him again a few days ago, we asked him for his thoughts about the commission's meeting decision. His response was he had never reviewed the video or the meeting discussion, but that he is in favor of overruling the commission and approving the proposal. Mr. Antonori also told us that he had visited the proposed site and talked with the owners in order to assure himself. But he also admitted that he had not bothered to talk to any of the residents that will be affected by his decision, who would be affected by his decision to overturn the Planning and Zoning Commission. In view of his obvious bias in this matter, we constituents advised him to review the meeting prior to this. I don't know if he had or not.
I have.
Thank you. Adding insult to the injury, Mr. Antonori also told us that Cochise County would use taxpayers' money to pave 5 miles of dirt road in order to accommodate the business if he has his way and the denial is overturned. There were 12 people there at that location, sir, where you attended. We bought,
I'll
It's my time.
address you when you're done. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's my time.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We brought to his attention that the applicant does not own the property involved and is not a resident of Cochise County, and that the county would essentially be involving itself in assisting a real estate transaction by overruling the commission and approving the special use permit. His statement to pave 5 miles of dirt road at the same site, like even more assistance to a private transaction. He made it very clear in the meeting that his concerns and needs of his constituents here are not his concern. This appears to be a matter of his effort. Support business development of any kind at any cost, even at a huge neighborhood nuisance, regardless of the facts of the realities.
Give him 15 seconds. Go ahead.
I've only got a small paragraph.
Go for it.
Thank you for the allotted time. And that our District 3 supervisor has refused to represent his constituents by doing the correct thing. I'm asking you, District 1, District 2, supervisors to vote no on this proposal. We've already got the answer from Mr. Antonori. Do you support Mr. Antonori's intent to overturn the decision of the Planning and Zoning Commission? To do not support, please do not support. Thank you for your understanding and voting responsibly in this important matter.
Thank you, sir.
Now, did you review? I have numerous photos of what that road consists of that we have to travel.
So my
That's
statement in
in front of
regard,
that location.
my statement in regard to the road that you're talking about was what I said. I met with, well, I got data from Miss Watkins. She's out here. She's our county engineer. At mile marker 7 on Ocotillo Road, it has an average daily car drive across, and this is north of mile marker 7, but that's the furthest north data that we have, the county has. You have an average daily car travel of about 207 cars per day. That is insufficient to put chip seal down on that road. So my comment was that, and because you talked to me about the flooding of the road, you talked to me about the condition, you sent the pictures, we got them here, the condition of that road. And I said that if you want to improve some of these conditions in the road by getting that average daily car amount up to about 500 cars per day would justify, which is what we're having the meeting on November 6th, chip sealing that road, which could alleviate this problem. I never said I was going to take public dollars and pave the road just for this business, sir. I did not say that. I said that it would justify putting chip seal.
There's 10 people and there's people in the audience.
All right.
They're present at the time that you made the commitment.
Well,
So that's what I'm saying is we don't want that road chip and seal.
Okay.
We prefer to leave it as it is.
All right.
But number one, correct this issue. That's right in front of the address of this location.
this has nothing to do with that
Why don't it?
address. This is something, if you want to come talk to us on the 6th, we'll be happy to deal with this
So
on the
that's in
6th.
front of that. He's going to generate how much traffic? 200 or 300 vehicles a day? They're going to come out here and hit this. Where are they going to go? They're talking about providing liquor at this location. They're talking about the people coming in and then they hit this and they have how many minutes?
All right, sir. I got. We might bring you back up. So
Pardon me?
we might bring you back up for additional questions. Let me go to the next speaker. We're trying to get the public hearing done, which is a separate way of doing this. So next up, we have Mr. Garrett Roberts. Mr. Roberts, are you online?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Garrett Roberts. I reside at 2532 North Arcatillo Road in Benson, Arizona. I own parcel 208-220-12C, which is adjacent to the proposed event center. I am opposed to the Wild Horse Guest Lodging and Event Center. I want to build a positive relationship with our new neighbors and applicants. However, I must address some inconsistencies with their applications and my concerns. I was disappointed with the lack of communication from the applicants. After receiving a letter from the applicants, I reached out with questions about their plans, but I never received a response. The project size also has been confusing, fluctuating between 40 and 108 acres, which could be due to planning and zoning staff's fault. The application states that the project will use 500,000 to 800,000 gallons of water annually. However, with the wading pool of approximately 0.84 acres, ASMA estimates a loss of 1.6 million gallons of water per year due to evaporation. This is 3 times the projected amount. This calculation also does not include any other water usage. That acreage also was part of the site plan that they included in the application. The application mentions peak noise levels of 100 decibels. Given that train horns are federally regulated to be between 96 and 100 decibels and can be heard clearly from over 8 miles away in conditions not optimal for sound travel, I believe that noise will easily be audible throughout the neighborhood from the event center, which is only a half a mile away. I appreciate the mitigation efforts planned to reduce sound and light pollution. However, I've never attended an event, whether it's a birthday party, wedding, or celebration of life that has been held solely indoors. Many people, including myself, would rather be outdoors, and the noise typically follows. The applicants had a small party on Saturday, and the noise could be heard throughout the neighborhood, loud enough to get the entire neighborhood's dogs barking and our cattle bellowing. We could hear people clearly. I thought that a child had gotten into our cattle pasture and was hurt based on the crying and screaming I had heard, so I quickly hopped on our quad to make sure nobody got injured in our pasture. Thankfully, that was not the case. However, this demonstrates how well sound can travel in our area. Again, I hope to foster a good relationship with the Robles despite my concerns regarding the event center. Thank you all for your time, and I yield mine, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up, Mr. Paul Walker, who is online. Mr. Walker, you have 3 minutes. Mr. Walker?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Good. My name is Paul Walker. I live along Ocotillo Road, south of the property being discussed. After thoroughly studying this matter, it's clear there is no good reason to overturn the decision of your Planning and Zoning Commission. The commission was most fair and thorough in examining all the facts and factors in the proposed special use decision. By a strong majority, they decided against the desired change of zoning. They gave the applicants full attention and a lot of extra time and opportunity to explain and plead their case. Anyone who observed that meeting has seen that to be true. By contrast, the committee severely limited the time and opportunity for comment by citizens from that neighborhood who tried to speak in opposition vis-a-vis the 3-minute rule that's being observed today. The reasons for the committee decision are solid and fair. The applicant's voluminous appeal information shows that their proposal has not been improved in any significant way. Other than reducing the acreage involved, all the negative and troublesome aspects remain in force. No amount of excessive verbiage will change that fact. In their own words, in the material before you, they based their appeal on the contention that the commission overlooked their plans in order to address citizen concerns, and that they made an arbitrary and capricious decision due to selective interpretation based on the weight of public comment, and that they were unfairly treated and not properly understood. The applicant's views simply are not the case. It is not a factor. They have been given full access, a lot of time and attention, and fair consideration. For the Board of Supervisors to reject and overturn the decision of its P&Z Commission would be an illogical and unfair action. It would be one more indication to the citizens that county government is not for their benefit. In closing, you are urged to show your commitment to fair and wise governance, to support the good work of your commission, and to deny this appeal. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there anyone present here in the room that would like to speak on this matter? Yeah, yes, ma'am. Come on, come up. Come up, the lady with her hand. You're welcome to come up and you have 3 minutes. And then since you didn't put in a request to speak, if you could just state your name and address for the record, that'd be great.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Loretta Gagline. I reside at 2711 North Ocotillo Road. I'm asking you to uphold the decision of the Planning and Zoning Commission to deny the special use permit at Wild Horse Lane. It is your moral obligation to listen to all of us opposing this. We are your property tax paying voters and your constituents. Those of us that live in the area have collectively invested over $5 million in our properties over the years. We have raised children, grandchildren, animals, crops, and some of us have retired to hope to enjoy our peace and quiet in our neighborhood. Please do not allow the almighty dollar to cloud your judgment today. This proposed project currently does not pay property tax, and it is a nonprofit. If you approve this, I would hope that they will begin paying property tax again and the nonprofit status to go away on this particular project. As all the rest of us have paid property tax, I just paid property tax today. This project will be a public nuisance with the noise. Yes, I'm repeating myself as everyone else because it is a nuisance to hear the noise. The county road department will have their hands full with all the excessive traffic. I don't know how this business can generate that much revenue for the county as it is currently nonprofit, not paying property tax. Hopefully you can change that if this gets approved. Hopefully you do not. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else? I saw another hand up back there. Yes, sir. Please come forward. And again, since you didn't have a form turned in, just state your name and address. That'd be great.
Yes.
That's okay.
Things. I was sitting here since 8:30. Anyways, my name's Mark Gibbs. My wife back there, Cindy Gibbs. We are probably the most affected person or people in this whole situation. If you look at one of those little things, the little cutout in the front, the 20 acres that is surrounded by two sides of this guy's property, or the current owner's property, I'm not even sure who that is my property. Okay, so there's a few things. Special use permit, I can see it for adding a billboard to a piece of property, a small change, some special use. But what I'm worried about here is, and I've owned multiple businesses in the Benson area, is once they get a foothold in, we see it creep. Okay, in the thing that I was sent, there could be potential motels, hotels, 15 units for guest housing, glamping. It goes on and on of what they want to do. So when they were denied, they said, okay, we'll only do this small section. But we all know how that works. You start with the small section, so once you have a foothold in and nobody's looking, you just kind of creep on over, and you creep on over, and you keep growing and growing and growing. Because once you have a foothold, it's almost impossible to stop. I mean, how many times have you guys put together something with a sunset clause? Does a sunset ever actually happen? No, you find a way to continue it and continue it and continue it. Now, in the area that's in question, you have to go through 4 major washes to get from I-10, which is conceivably where everybody for their event will be coming from. Okay? Have to go through 4 major washes to get to this property. 6 weeks ago, we had a flash storm. I'm sure you were all aware of it. We had a heavy rain day, right? Okay? Were you aware a young lady and a car and her family were swept away in the wash and she died? Okay? Now, could you imagine a flash flood existence in any one of those 4 washes with 250 cars out there? Now, you know, as well as I do, and everybody here who lives here, they don't schedule flash floods. Okay? It's a spur-of-the-moment storm that pops up. It could be blue and sunny when you drove out there, and it could hit in a matter of seconds. How many people would die then? In fact, the rescue squads to come out to try to save this girl couldn't get through the previous wash to go help her. So by the time they got there, all they got to do is reclaim a body. Okay? They're talking about doing an RV park, community guest houses, glamping tents, commercial kitchen on a special use permit. I used to own the Arena Bar. Every time we tried to do something, the county came in very strong to make us do everything by rules. If they want to go through this, forget the special use permit, send it back to the planning and zoning, which denied it after full review, and have them get rezoned. Go through something that actually checks each step of the way.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. 3 minutes is up. Anyone else in the audience that would request to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is George Spilsbury, and I represent Beth Jones. We are joint tenants at 2587 North Ocotillo Road. We are joined on 2 sides by the applicants. I moved to speak because the applicants mentioned that they're going to do their dream. And my dream has been built from nothing for the last 11 years. Our dream has been built for the last 11 years. I would hate to think that their dream is more important than my dream. And I would also like to know if the county has done any investigation as to the increased septic flow into the San Pedro River Valley with a relatively high water table. And I reiterate the gentleman's concerns that the taxes and the facilitation of it to progress to other parts of the property have been totally addressed. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
.532 North Ocotillo. Good morning, board administration. I'm not for this plan because it's a rural community. It's farming, ranching. They have some beautiful ideas. I understand that. But the amount of traffic, and to correct this gentleman in front of me, I don't know his name, it's actually 8 miles into the county away from Benson because the 8 mile marker is right in front of their residence. And as for you, Mr. Chairman,
sure.
You said that was the meter counter for automobiles with milepost 7.
Correct. That's
okay.
The county roads counted.
And that's before you turn, it's on, they did it on Ocotillo, but that's also considering the Willow Lakes residents, which has nothing to do with going down on the dirt. Just make all that clear. Another thing is that's a county maintained road and it goes through private property. So if anything were to be done, they'd have to buy land from that property or move the road to the property lines like it should be. And there's no legal right of way on that road from milepost 7.2.5. And kind of agree, not kind of, but do agree with the other folks. There's some dangerous washes out there. They don't look like they're nothing. Rex, you lived out there for I don't know how many years now, at least 18, 20, maybe a little bit longer. He understands. I don't know if you guys understand the sincerity of these washes.
Microphone, please. Yeah, we can't hear you.
The sincerity of these washes and the life that has been lost. Last week alone, I had to escort an ambulance to an address because they were lost. A few weeks prior to that, I had to show the sheriff where a residence was. I'm just concerned about the people that's not familiar with the area. We don't need to ruin human life just to grow a business. And to me, what they're trying to do is a commercial business. It's not agriculture, because that area out there is cattle ranching and farming and residential. I yield my time back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else in the audience that requests us to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the board. I submitted my comments.
Name
Oh,
and
sorry, Ann Roberts. I live at 2532 North Ocotillo.
thank you.
I submitted my comments in the packet, so they're pretty much in line with everything that everyone else has said. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I do agree that it would be nice to see some agricultural development out there. My main concern, once again, are the adequacy of emergency services, the scope of this project. It seems more commercial to me than agritourism. And the major concern is really the emergency services. The road is a problem. There's no fire service out there. I did confirm with the city of Benson that they are the area that would be responsible for fire coverage out there. They are 8 miles away. They will not leave the city of Benson unless they have adequate coverage in the city of Benson, and they are a volunteer fire department. That is a serious concern. Emergency services, which would be the ambulance and such, those also, depending on who's available, could come from the Benson Hospital. They could come from Tombstone. They could come from Dragoon. I guess there's a emergency services place out there at the thing. And once again, people from the sheriff's department are here. They know that when there are emergencies out there, it takes them a good 20 to 30 minutes to get out there, and that's with emergency proceedings. So I once again would say, if you're inclined to approve it, I would suggest you remand it so that people get better information in the neighborhood, maybe so that we can figure out how to make this thing work, or deny it and uphold what the Planning and Zoning Commission has done. Thank you.
Anyone else request to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Laurel Gagline. I live at 199 West Lightning Lane in Benson, Arizona, and I am against this appeal, and I would hope that you also deny it and uphold the planning and zoning decision, those that you appointed. So I would like you to put in your mind Ramsey Canyon situation, because this is what it sounds like to me 100%. There's inconsistencies in their application. They talk about 100-acre total parcel, but yet they only want 40 acres for the special use permit. And as someone else stated, how are you magically going to stop them from just utilizing the rest of the parcels of the property for their event center? And also in their application, it talks about 15 tiny homes, yet that would mean that they are going to utilize the whole 108-acre parcel, which already has a few residences on it, a few buildings that they could also be renting out. So the math doesn't add up for just a 40-acre special use permit. They also talk about it being a small scale, yet at Planning and Zoning, they mentioned that they are hoping to have weddings of 150 people. That's a lot of people coming and going. And if they have multiple events all throughout, multiple days throughout the week, that could easily add up to 300 to 500 cars, people coming and going. Ocotillo Road, if you have not been out there, is a 2-lane road. And this poses a risk for all our current residents. And as others have stated, there's 6 washes that frequently flood that these customers and event goers will have to come through to get to this location. Furthermore, our Trace Alamos area plan, which is your job to uphold, and we have already told Christine McLaughlin, the whole community would like to keep our area plan. Our vision statement explicitly says the Trace Alamos communities will maintain a rural quality characterized by quiet, peacefulness, neighborliness, the beauty of the rural environment, and large lot sizes. And we also talk about dark skies. Everything about a huge event center to this scope does not go in line with our Tres Alamos area plan. And also, as someone talked about the water consumption, they want to add a wading pool. We don't need a wading pool out there. There's already 2 ponds. They have 12 irrigated pastures. They have 7 wells. So yes, they have the water supply, but to put a wading pool out in the desert to evaporate our water is asinine. Like, we live in the desert and it needs to be protected. And on our Tres Alamos area plan, land use policy number 5, water resources should be protected, particularly groundwater levels for
Thanks.
home sites and watersheds serving the San Pedro River.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Is there anyone else who would request to speak? Going once? Going twice? All right. Mr. and Mrs. Robles, you have an opportunity to rebut for 3 minutes.
I wrote this rebuttal ahead of time because based on the responses that we had, we were well aware of what was going to come up to be said. Many of the claims are repeated here are not only misleading, they ignore the realities at hand. You've heard concerns about a number of things, and yet nobody has brought factual, citable information for you guys. The evaporated water, the amount of water that's on the property, there's documented evidence of that property specifically being able to harvest water. Harvest, meaning we're not pulling, we're using the water that has been graciously granted to us by God, and we're using it appropriately. I apologize. Some of the responses named drinking and driving on the road. Not the responses here, the responses that you guys got. Our event center will be the only event center in Benson that has on-site lodging. Our neighbors have to pass 2 event centers that are already existing in order to get to and from town. That means however many people are at those 2 event centers are on the road after drinking. Ours is the only safest option because we're allowing people to stay after an event. We've heard water and noise concerns. Like I said, no citable evidence. They rely on the same land and water from these people. These people rely on the same water and land for their own pivots, livestock, and business operations. They generate daily noise from trucks, baling, and animals, but they're arguing that we can enjoy the same lawful rights. Most important to note is the fact that this land is in pristine condition because of the relentless care of its current owners. The fencing, water system, open range, all of it has been maintained through the years from investment and dedication by them. This stewardship is what makes this property valuable today. Yet the opposition speaks as if we're out here trying to just come in and destroy it or take their hard work and totally reverse it. The pattern is clear. It's a refusal to consider anything beyond their own fears. Not once have they offered a constructive alternative, a compromise, or acknowledgement of the safeguards that we already built into this permit. Their arguments are not about facts, they're about control at the expense of lawful process, economic growth, and property rights. At the end of the day, the truth is simple. The law supports this permit. The economy benefits from this permit in Cochise County is stronger with this permit. We're asking for the same opportunity that so many of our neighbors have already taken for themselves with far less process or oversight. Supervisors, I urge you to approve this permit.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we will close the public hearing and we'll begin the discussion phase with the members of the board. Any member of the board may request the applicant or anyone that has spoken or members of staff for clarifications if they have any questions. I have some things I want to say, but I don't know if you guys want to go first. You want me to?
No, go ahead.
Want me to go first? All right. So I did a little homework. So part of the job here is we've already dealt with multiple planning and zoning issues. We've actually overturned the board before, and that's not been an anomaly. That's the reason we have appeals. We have appeals courts for decisions that Superior Court judges make. We have Supreme Courts to overturn appellate courts. And that's a process that gives everybody what is considered fair and due process, so they can get their arguments and their cases heard. We are the appeal for the Planning and Zoning Commission, and there's a reason for that, because sometimes data isn't looked in a certain way or conditions aren't met, and some of us have more experience in that regard. And I dealt with this quite a bit at the state level with a lot of folks coming and speaking, and I've developed the ability to take emotion out of it, because sometimes emotion does get very into these things, and people have a right. You know, I get the emotional argument, but I tend to try to look at the actual facts and the data in this case. So I did a little homework. There's a thing called the inverse square law and the atmospheric absorption law. Isaac Newton, you guys know him. He's the guy that came up with this. And there is actually a federal standard called ISO 9613-1 that covers atmospheric noise and absorption. So I did that using the data. I actually went to this website called wkcgroup.com/tools-room, and you could actually calculate the decibel transfer over distance. However, this decibel transfer over distance only considers atmospheric conditions. It does not consider trees or buildings or any other absorbing material, and it does not consider other sounds that can neutralize the wavelength of certain frequencies. So just going off of raw, if it was just a totally pristine straight line, nothing in the way, I actually did several of the folks that spoke. I did Ms. Laurel Gigling's property. You live 3.9 miles away. 120 decibel sound, which is a rock concert, by the way. I think you guys stated 100 is what you're thinking, which is amplified music like you would on a stereo with speakers turned up. But a rock concert, 120 decibels. At your distance, you would hear zero of that. You can't hear it. That's too far away. But I did Mr. Bray. Mr. Bray lives from his back porch to the site of where they're planning to put the event center is 4,735 feet. 120 decibel sound, which again is a rock concert, at his back porch would reduce over the time, distance, and atmospheric absorption to 56 decibels. For comparison, a normal human conversation is about 50 decibels, so it would be slightly louder than two people talking. I did another one for Mr. Kevin Roberts and Ann Roberts. You live 2,961 feet. 120 decibels would be 60.1 decibels, which would be basically two people yelling. You can make that argument that that's louder than normals. I did Mr. Walls. Yours is 60.3 decibel as well. I want to say that most noise ordinances, if you look at some of the county does not have a noise ordinance. So let's be clear. And there's a reason for that, because we have a lot of things in this county that makes noise. A lot of agriculture things that make noise, tractors, ATVs, machines, equipment. So the county has stayed away from trying to implement a noise ordinance. But for example, some of the municipal noise ordinances they vary between 65 to 70 decibels for a sustained period of greater than 30 minutes is considered a nuisance. So for the properties that I did, nobody meets that threshold, that they're receiving a nuisance on there. Amplified music generally is about 90 to 100 decibels. 90 to 100 decibels, okay? So if you look at that factor, most of these will have decibel readings of less than 50 decibels, which would be less than sound. Having this accomplished during the hours of 7 to 10 p.m., which is in the application, I read that, whereas afterwards they would move this inside, and I'm assuming that would be a structure of some sort that has a maybe insulated or not insulated, I don't know. But generally, that would reduce it even more. You're talking about a 30 to 40 decibel amount, which is not considered a nuisance in most legal standards. Okay, so again, I'm going off of just the data. But with regard to the roads, okay, the road issue is a county issue, like I had said earlier. If folks have an issue with the roads and the way the county's maintaining, I'll get with our Public Works Director and with Ms. Gilman and Mr. Casey, and we could take a look at that. But that is not as far as I'm concerned, relative to this project, because they, like anyone else, have a right to access public roads in this county. Everybody has a right to access public roads or publicly maintained roads, and that's my point of view. The second one, the economic side of it. Let me address that. 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with Congressman Siscomani, State Senator Gowan, and we met with, and their respective staffs, and we met with the two-star general in charge of the Army Testing and Evaluation Command, ATEC, regarding the electronic proving ground in Fort Huachuca. And they've reduced the staff out there by about 50% so far. And they're continuing to reduce it. This has me scared, and I know it has the congressman scared and Mr. Gowan, Senator Gowan scared. And it should have Mr. Crosby scared, because, and I'm sure it does, because we're seeing a reduction in the mission at Fort Huachuca. This county benefits significantly from the economics generated from that fort. And every time we lose personnel from that fort, and specifically every time we lose mission on that fort, the revenue that pays for your roads, that pays for your sheriff's office, that pays for the health department to inspect your restaurants, that pays for a lot of the county services, will suffer from that. So myself, I know Ms. Gomez is working hard to do this. We are trying to shift the economy in this county as much as we can. The other side of it is agriculture in this county, which is a vital aspect of this county. The property tax formula for them results in very little property tax revenue being generated from agriculture. Other businesses, however, pay full freight. They pay 15% assessment ratio for the property value that they're operating on. So it would be smarter to offset any economic losses that we might incur if, God forbid, the fort were to reduce its mission or be bracked and closed. We would have a way to generate economic growth and revenue elsewhere in this county. The other argument is we had people come in here and we had the wolf issue screaming that the county doesn't do enough to promote tourism, that we overfavor agriculture over tourism, and we don't do enough to favor tourism. Here's a guy and his wife that want to bring a business into the county that's going to bring tourists in, that are going to they're going to look at stars, they're going to go bird watching, they're going to have events. Yes, but most of the people are going to be renting their Airbnb and renting their casitas, and they're going to be touring around northern Arizona, probably even northern Cochise County and southern Arizona, creating other economic growth, tending restaurants and businesses in Benson, maybe traveling out to Wilcox for some wine, maybe going down to Tombstone to see something exciting, or down to Sierra Vista to Ramsey Canyon to see the birds and the turkeys down there. So you can't negate that. So it's just, the irritation that I get is, we hear it from everybody. You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. There is an undercurrent developing in this county that scares me. And that undercurrent basically opposes everything. And then they want everything. They want the roads fixed. They want the sheriff to show up when they call the sheriff. They want the fire department to show up. They want the services, but they don't want what comes with the ability to provide those services. And it's beginning to really bother me that this is a mindset, and it has hurt this county dramatically over the last 30 years. We have zero population growth and we had zero economic growth. And if you don't realize it, that's over the last 30 years. $1 30 years ago ain't anywhere close to what it's worth today. $1 today is worth crap, to be straight up. So when I ask, our public works director to pave a road or to chip seal a road or grade a road, it costs him, and he's going to show us on the meeting on the 6th, it's almost 4 times as much now to maintain a road as it did 30 years ago. But our revenue to do that is the same. So I have made it a mission, and I did not hide it. There is not anyone in here or anyone. I made it perfectly clear when I ran for this job. But my number one sole purpose was to increase the population and the economic growth of this county, which this county desperately needs. Because as this county gets older folks require services. And those services have to come from tax dollars. And you don't get the tax dollars unless you have private business. And unfortunately, like I said just a little while ago, the majority of this county, sadly, is government. If you look at the county governments, you look at the municipal governments, you look at the federal government, that's the economy of this county. And that is not a good economic model if you want to sustain a county. You have to have private sector commercial industry to sustain this county. So my looking at this, I have a young man and his wife and his family that want to basically pursue the American dream, which to me is also another point, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Pursuit of happiness is basically to generate wealth. And when you have folks that have generated their wealth elsewhere and moved here, and they say, okay, I got my little piece of the world. That's it. Nobody else is allowed to come here. I got mine. No one else can have theirs. That irritates me as well. So we have a guy and his wife that wants to come in here. They want to set up a business. They want to pursue their happiness. They want to grow their wealth. They want to grow the economy in Arizona. And I find that perfectly rational and reasonable as long as reasonable accommodations are made to consider the property values and the quality of life of the neighboring properties. So I got a mitigation plan that I read that the Mr. and Mrs. Robles are going to do to mitigate the impact to the neighboring properties. And I consider that to be rather reasonable, including the accommodations of trying to reduce sound as much as possible. And the mass revenue that they're going to be generating is coming from their renting of these casitas and the main house and some of these RV lots, these camping lots and whatnot. And then occasionally they're going to have special events. So the majority of their effort is going to be in the lodging aspect and the eco tourism or environmental tourism that would come with that, which I see as nothing but a plus for the county. So that is my 2 cents on that. The only thing I would like to add is with regard to events that may be held after 10 o'clock, if Ms. Robles can come up, can you clarify for me that event center building that you're planning to construct, is it going to be insulated?
It will.
It will be insulated. So if you add that insulation factor in there, the noise reduction is also significantly reduced by that fact. And that, in my opinion, is, to me, a reasonable accommodation. So just so you know, I live next to a marijuana farm. These guys have ultraviolet lights on. It really smells kind of interesting sometimes as the wind blows towards my house. I have a feedlot that also has wind that blows a certain way. I have a power plant that I look out my window and I see a big blinking 70-foot tower, blinking bright strobe lights. But I made, a conscious decision to live in rural Arizona. And I have a well drilling company not far down the road from me. I have a winery on the other side of me. That's what RU properties are. Just because it's RU doesn't mean it's only for 40-acre ranchettes or 30-acre ranchettes or 10-acre ranchettes. RU is rural. It doesn't limit the use of that to just one specific type of business or one specific type of residence. Okay, so that's part of our process too, is to define what is the positive and what is the negative of it and making a reasonable decision. And lastly, I'll close with, I believe in entrepreneurs. And when you have someone that wants to stick their neck out and invest millions of dollars to do so, they are going to do their due diligence to make sure that they're not peeing away that investment. Okay, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurs. They tend to be really smart with their money, and they don't tend to really do stupid things that's going to hurt their business. And I have the confidence that they will do that and make sure that they don't degrade the value of that property. But if they're going to do what they claim they're going to do, they're going to probably put another $3 million investment into that property, which will raise everybody's property values. It will raise everybody's property values based on the assessment formulas in the state of Arizona. It will raise everybody's property values in that area out there. And then I will get with Mr. Leindecker with regard to the comment the one lady made about the exemption for the nonprofit charitable organization, whatever it is, status right now. I'm almost positive that will convert once the property is put to a different use, but I will double check with that. But I'm pretty sure that will be the case when that is done. And that is the extent of my comment. So I don't know if you guys want to add anything.
Go ahead, because I'm thinking, I'm processing.
Okay, I have one question for Mr. Hendel, and I have maybe a couple questions for Mr. Taylor. Mr. Hendel, was Mr. Antonori correct saying that the Robles applicants have a right to appeal the decision of the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Under the ordinances of this county, anyone has the right to appeal from an adverse decision against them.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you very much. Mr. Taylor, what are we going to do? Or what about the acreage issue and why does it matter? Because when somebody is talking about acreage, they're saying, okay, there's this acreage, there's that acreage. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, Supervisor Crosby. When I originally spoke with the applicants, I believe we discussed 3 parcels, and that's what I had thought that what they were moving forward with. There was a subsequent pre-application meeting that I was not a part of, where the special use was identified for the south 40 acres.
Okay, so
when I sent out notices, I sent it for the original project site as I had believed it to be. So that's where we get the confusion about the 40 acres versus the 108 acres.
Okay, thank you very much.
That was an error on my part.
I noted that there was a person that made a comparison to the Ramsey Canyon issue and property. So what is the difference between this and the Ramsey Canyon property besides we went for so long without a hearing officer, which was unavoidable? Can you explain that? And what I'm talking about is creep against permit requirements, which I believe is the case of Ramsey Canyon. That's what I understood.
Mr. Chairman and Supervisors, I don't mean to interject, but our county is in active litigation concerning the Ramsey Canyon property. I think it's best that...
I'll just simply withdraw that question. I'll just simply withdraw. Okay, just talk about generally without any reference to the previously referenced issue. What about creep against permit requirements?
Sure, Mr. Chair, Supervisor Crosby, if the board moves forward or ultimately the special use is approved for those 15 guest units, that would be relegated to the southerly 2 parcels of the 40 acres. Any increase in that would require a special use modification. If additional lodging units were to be proposed for the northern 68 acres, that would likely require a brand new special use application for those 68 acres.
Okay, could we take a look at page number 13, please? And it says applicant will provide additional information that expands testimony and evidence that was either not provided or overlooked during commission deliberations. So I assume, but I'd like confirmation that opportunity discussed in paragraph 2 has been provided for at this time. Is that correct?
Oh, sure. Go ahead. You can answer, Ms. Robles. Good.
Yeah. Are you satisfied that you have been able to provide the additional information and so on that is referred to in paragraph 2 of page 13 here?
Yes, with the confirmation that supervisors have reviewed the application. It's in its entirety, all of the exhibits, all of the information. Mr. Chair did give some of the information that he reported on his own. However, I provided full sound decibel charts for all opposing neighbors and properties. I also gave lots of additional testimony and information in that 32-page application that supports.
Thank you very much. So you're satisfied that you've had a chance to take advantage of the provisions of paragraph 2 up there, it sounds like.
Understanding that you guys have reviewed that application.
Okay. And then that concludes my questions. And then finally, I would note, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hendel, but it appears that if we vote to approve the appeal of the Robles, that means they get their special use authorization. Is that correct? Want me to repeat that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Okay, looking at agenda item number 7, if we vote to approve the appeal of the Robles, that means they get their special use authorization.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Good.
Okay, well, I read a lot of these emails and I was really kind of astounded by, I don't know how to say it, the negativity of it all. One thing, that's really, really stressful on this job is trying to figure out how we pay for services, how we get economic development, and how we keep the rural presence of our community. I face it a lot with just a feedlot. A guy just wanted 300 head of cattle, and I could not believe the negativity that came from misinformation. It seems to me that you, from what I understand, you are providing more information to us that has not been given to the commission because you're bringing a plan that has been kind of changed. Is that correct?
The plan in its entirety has stayed the same. What I did is additional research. So all of the information that I made available in the first meeting was general and gave an understanding of what it is that we'd be doing, how we would mitigate or even eliminate some of the issues that were brought up. And so the additional information that I provided was just an extension of that. It's hard figures, it's facts, and it's citable information.
But this is new information, right? That they had not heard, or more extensive information that they
More
did not hear.
extensive.
Okay. One of the reasons we've put in this new ability to remand is when things get this heated, and it just seems to me that I respect what you're doing, and I think we have to bring in people, have new ideas, who are young, who want to keep what we have going, right? Because if we continue at this level of zero growth, zero people coming here, we're all going to die in the vine. I'm telling you, when you're looking at the budget to do roads and to do libraries and to do healthcare and the sheriff and the judges, and I mean, we have very little income coming in, very little property taxes. It is sad to see that a community cannot come together and maybe welcome somebody with new ideas. And I'm wondering if there cannot be a way that this could be addressed again and maybe remanded back to see what compromises can be occur, or what of a sense of, instead of such negativity. I mean, really, I'll tell you, I got turned off by all the negative emails because there was I did not see any kind of openness to compromise or to say, we have to welcome new people. We have to keep our rural environment, so that we do have rural Cochise County, but there's going to have to be some change. And there are people that are using water to grow alfalfa in that area, and yet are upset with somebody who has the ability to maybe have a pond. There has to be the ability of all people to come together and have a compromise, because we can't continue going this way. There's going to be no way we're going to be able to grow. I am seeing a lot of this in my district, in District 2. People coming. I mean, you are actually trying, as I understand, to keep the rural environment rural. I mean, I'm dealing with people who come in and don't want to smell cows, and they're buying property that is in an agricultural zone. You have somebody here who wants to work with you all, and it was a little bit distressing to see how much negativity there is. Is there any way you think that you could meet with your neighbors again and there could be some compromise, or do you just think there's a total wall?
I can give you some examples and also comment on your remand. So prior to us submitting our special use application, we went outside of the property. We visited the property to pray on it. My husband asked, can we drive up to Benson and pray on the property? While we were there, we met with several of the neighbors that are here today. We were greeted with kindness. We were greeted with, that's a great idea. There was a woman who met us and said her business venture could tie greatly into ours. She could have things that happen on our property with her clients. There was never a hint of the kind of hate and disgust that's coming from them at this point. Then we get to the special use hearing, and it was the complete opposite. When we also got to the special use hearing, we received some comments back just moments before or day before the meeting, and we addressed them in an open letter to the Tres Alamos community. We let them know we're not here to disrupt anything that you guys have going on. Instead, we want to enhance that. We want to keep on growing the environment, the neighborhood exactly as it is. The property that we're on is the best example of land stewardship in that area. Some of the neighbors that are talking about the things that are going to be happening have homes on land that is a fire hazard in and of itself. There are trailers there that are completely gutted with trash just lying around, and I'm not understanding how this property that is so well cared for is all of these things that they keep on bringing up. Another speaker said that we were going to be a nudist colony. They bring up the fact of a place around here that's currently in litigation. And the reason we even applied for this permit is because we don't want to put the county in that type of situation. We want to make sure we're protecting the county. We can't go past this special use authorization. It limits our growth. So if we are really these entrepreneurs that have this business mindset and just want to just dollars on our mind, why would we have gone to the trouble of limiting ourselves in what we can do on our property with or without permission, following the law or not following the law? There are businesses out there that maybe should have been reporting some of the activities that are happening there, and they're not. So I'm coming in at a very transparent, very, very transparent point and saying, hey, let's grow. Let's create beauty here. Let's uphold the heritage in the Tres Alamos plan. I will also like to bring your attention to the Tres Alamos plan. The first paragraph is all that's being quoted. As one of the speakers noted, it is your job to uphold that plan. If you read all the way through, it says the Tres Alamos community will support special use permits that are in sync with what's going on there. It says that it expects the neighbors and the commissions to uphold a special use that adds value to the area. Nobody is reading that far down because it doesn't protect only their piece of land. It doesn't keep them just safe. And we're not coming in trying to take away anything. We're trying to build. So the idea of a remand, especially giving all of the negative input and all of just the lies. So there's a lot of information that's not true. We're not asking for rezoning. We're not trying to walk around naked out there. We're putting everybody in. People say, you're never going to get people inside of an event center at 10 o'clock. That's not what we're saying. We're saying if we're having a reception outside or a ceremony outside, the reception portion of an event takes place inside. And I think that we all have been to enough weddings to know that's usually what happens. It's indoor. You have the speeches, toast, food inside.
We're rambling off of the.
Just one more question I have. My commissioner that's from District 2 voted for your plan, and he had talked to me extensively about why he's for it. The other gentleman that was appointed didn't get to vote on it. He wasn't in an office yet, and the other one was absent. Does the staff, Mr. Taylor, what is the staff recommends that that this be approved with special conditions?
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Gomez, staff typically does not make a recommendation for appeals. It's difficult because sometimes those recommendations can be contradictory to each other from the staff and commission level. Okay. So we're not making a recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Gibbs, I saw Mr. Gibbs raising his hand back there. I'm going to let him come back up, sir. You're welcome to come back up. Just come to the microphone, sir, please. So, because this is on the record and the people online and watching the video later today may not be able to hear you.
Yeah, I've had businesses in this community, and I've added, before Walmart came to town, I was the #2 taxpayer in Benson. Okay, so I'm familiar with this. I think their idea is great. It's just in the wrong location. Okay, and that's what I'm saying. And when I was going to put my first RV park in Benson on the main road, first thing I did is I went up to Rebs and I got everybody in that area. I invited them all over. I paid for lunch and I explained what I was going to do. Mine is the closest property, the most affected, and I guarantee you the sound would be very strong on my property. Okay, I'm right there, right? I'm easy to find in town. So far, in the last few seconds, I've been called these people, okay? And they have never talked to any of the neighbors in the area unless they stopped in front of the property and somebody happened upon them. But they haven't extended themselves to the community. They're acting like they're coming into the community and wanting to make it and lift it for everybody. We have a great event center that does lots of weddings in Benson, right on I-10, easy access in and out. Okay, we have hotels a block from where this event center is that can, if somebody wants to stagger on over if they've partied too long, okay? They can do that. I owned the biggest bar in the area for 15 years. We had weddings there all the time. Now, I know you guys have been to a wedding before. Sometimes weddings get a little bit out of hand, especially in a rural area where you got a bunch of cowboys. I mean, any cowboy ever been to a wedding that you got a little bit out of hand? Probably every one of you, okay? I'm just saying it's the wrong business for this location. If you decide to remand it back, at least the commissioners get to talk it over, and some of this new information that they say they've provided will get to the people in the area. You know, we're not a bunch of stone-headed people that say, oh, we're here first. But we're not Me Tooers. You know, I'm first. So get my property done, pave my road, and then the hell with everybody else. We're not that. We just want a logical step forward. And I got to tell you, Frank, we've never met. If I sit outside, I can hear the train whistle. Okay? That's 7 miles away, and it's 100 decibels. It's less than 100 decibels. So to say that a rock
Train horn is 140 decibels.
Pardon me?
A train horn is 140 decibels. I got the chart right here. 140 decibels.
Just somebody said earlier in this that they had to be below 100 decibels.
No. 100 decibels is what a concert, a rock concert's 120, amplified sound from a stereo is about 100 decibels.
Okay, they have
a gunshot
they
is
had
100.
a party on Saturday and everybody heard it.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
I'm not saying you're not going to hear it. What I'm saying is the noise is not going to rise to a level of a nuisance, and a nuisance is
50 feet away.
Is 65 to 70. Yes, sir. Yes.
I move we vote.
You move your vote? All right.
We just want our chance.
Thank you, sir.
So what are the chances of remanding it? So do you feel
Well, I guess we could have a.
That would actually let people discuss.
So,
Chair, further, I'd like to see the agenda item projected. It's number 7, please. Because I'd like to offer an amended agenda item.
Okay.
And that will consist of deleting the second 2 words or deny. So the motion would read approve the appeal, et cetera, and the second 2 words or deny would be struck. And that is a motion.
I don't understand. So
he's just making the motion to approve.
Okay.
He's taking away the option to
deny.
deny. We had a third option, which is what you brought up, which is to remand it back. That's the third option. So right now, Mr. Crosby is offering
to just approve.
So any discussion on that motion?
Second.
I mean, I'm for remanding, so I don't know how to discuss that. So anyway.
I'd go with you on the motion to approve. So I'll second it.
Okay. So now we need a vote to do what we just said, which was.
So to amend the resolution, the agenda item to say approve the appeal. Any discussion on that?
I would just think that, as we provided a remand in the last couple of months, to be able to let these people bring it back to the community and try one more time to come to an agreement or a compromise or more discussion is the best way to do it. I don't know enough to be able to do anything other than say that I feel that we need to take it back. I have a new commissioner on there who wasn't able to hear this. One of them voted for him. And I think to give the community the ability to discuss this again, to hopefully meet with, a mindset of openness and to have more communication, because that's what I see is maybe the problem is there's not been enough communication. And I just went through this whole thing in Douglas about misinformation with a police officer that was unbelievable. And I think the biggest problem in Cochise County is that there's misinformation. So to be able to give the opportunity to everyone to have a sit down and to maybe really discuss the issues is at least worth, I think we need to give them that chance before we make a decision. That's my stand.
Let's vote on the amendment motion. motion.
All right, so the amended motion before the board is to amend agenda item number 7 to read approve the appeal by Mario and Angela Robles. So with that, all those in favor say aye.
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 No.
No.
Would you like me to read it over again?
No, that's sufficient. All right,
That's
so,
sufficient, Mr.
yeah, so.
Yes,
so
the motion was
Motion,
sufficient.
motion passes 2-1. So the agenda item as amended now reads approve the appeal by Mario and Angela Robles applicants docket number SUA 25-03 of the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial of docket SU 2518, a special use request to allow guest lodging and special events at 1819/2044 West Wild Horse Lane in Supervisor District 3. So with that, any discussion on that amendment?
So there's no opportunity for remand. It's just to approve? Is that what we're doing?
Well, that's what we're voting on now.
Okay, so you're just voting to approve with no opportunity to send it back for remanding?
Right.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Mr.
All right.
Chairman, can I have
So
a
with
word?
that, the motion before the board is to approve the appeal.
Supervisor, sorry. I believe you've amended the agenda item. There's been a motion, but we need a second.
Oh, for the.
For the
motion For
amended.
the second amendment, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
All
just
right.
need a clean.
Go ahead and do it again, Mr.
Okay.
Crosby.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the appeal by Mario and Angela Robles applicants docket SUA 25-03 of the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial of docket SU 25-18, a special use authorization request to allow guest lodging and special events at 1819/2044 West Wild Horse Lane, Supervisor District 3.
I'll second it.
Now, can you have any question?
Yeah, we can discuss now.
I would just like to again say that I think that you have to give the opportunity to people to be able to try to come to some agreement. I think that's why we did the remanding. I think it's an opportunity for everyone to be on a better level field. I feel for the Robleses if this just gets approved without any more discussion, because it's terrible to see neighbor pitted against neighbor. And that's my statement.
All right, so the motion before the board is to approve the appeal by Mario and Angela Robles applicants for docket SUA 25-03. All those in favor say aye.
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 No.
All right, motion passes 2-1. The appeal is granted. Next agenda item number 8. Can I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move we adopt zoning ordinance 25-22 to rezone tax parcel 205-12-347B from SR 22, single household residential district, one dwelling per 22,000 square feet, to RU2 rural district, one dwelling per 2 acres, pursuant to the application of David and Diane Rossi, Supervisor District 3.
I'll second it. All right, Mr. Taylor, we'll go to you for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and board members. This is the staff presentation for docket RZ 2514. An applicant initiated request to rezone property from SR 22 to RU2. Applicants are David and Diane Rossi. The property is located on Sandal Street and Sun Sites number 7. Again, the current zoning is SR 22. The proposed zoning is rural. The plan designations are rural. Existing use of the property is undeveloped, and the applicant proposes rural residential land use. Again, the property is located in Sun Sites Units number 7, approximately 1 mile west of Highway 191. Property total is approximately 3 acres, which means it is not eligible for an opt-out permit. However, the property owner would like to have the flexibility of putting accessory structures prior to the principal dwelling. Couple of drone images. This would be viewing to the northeast, to the northwest, and to the southeast. Section 2.63 of the zoning regulations identifies 15 factors to evaluate rezoning requests. Rezoning to RU2 complies with 8 of the 9 applicable factors. The applicant did not provide a concept plan. The request does comply with the applicable factors with the exception of the concept plan. Proposed use is compatible with the rural residential growth pattern. Obviously, there are very few residences established within Sun Sites number 7. The downzone reduces allowed residential density, and staff did not receive any opposition from nearby property owners. Staff did the public notification process between 15 and 19 September, mailing notices, posting the property, and publishing a legal ad. Would like to add that I did receive one written response yesterday in favor. Based on the factors in favor, Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of docket RZ 2514 without special conditions by a vote of 8-0 during its meeting on October the 8th, and staff also recommends approval of docket RZ 2514 without special conditions.
Just to clarify again, this is part of that abandoned subdivision in Pierce. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this would be one of the antiquated subdivisions.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So we're trying to fix that problem. So that goes towards this issue. So good deal. Puts them back on the tax roll. So, okay. Any other discussion? Any questions? All right. Let me open the public hearing. Is the applicant here for the zoning change? Request to speak? Applicant is not here. Okay, how about call to the audience? Anyone here? There's no one listed on the request to speak sheet, but is there anyone here in the audience who would like to speak to agenda item number 8? Anyone online as well? Agenda item 8? Agenda item 8? Going once, going twice, none. So I guess we will close the public hearing. Next, any last discussion from the board? All right, with that, the motion before the board is to adopt zoning ordinance 25-22 to rezone tax parcel 205-12-347B from SR 22 single household residential district, one dwelling per 22,000 square feet to RU2 rural district, one dwelling per 2 acres pursuant to the application of David and Diane Ruzi. I'm Italian, man. I should be able to say that name. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Motion passes 3-0. All right. Next are.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Taylor. Next, we are going to go on to the action items. So can I get a motion to move agenda item number 9, please?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the funding agreement for the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission, ACJC, Drug, Gang, and Violent Crime Control Program, DGVCCP, grant to enhance the ability of the courts to provide services for drug, gang, and/or related violent crime control efforts to deter, investigate, prosecute, adjudicate, and treat drug, gang, and related violent adult offenders in the amount of $68,745.04 and the required $22,915.01 matching funds effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Second.
All right. Let's go to Ms. McNabb for an explanation.
This is our regular annual funding that we get from the AOC that covers probation or drug testing for our department. And the match, the required county match was budgeted.
All right. Any other questions? None?
No, sir.
All right. With that, the motion before the board is to approve the funding agreement of the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission Drug, Gang, and Violent Crime Control Program grant to enhance the ability of the courts to provide service for drug, gang, and/or related violent crime control efforts and to deter, investigate, prosecute, adjudicate, and treat drug, gang, and related violent offenders in the amount of $68,745.04. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Ms. McNabb.
And I have
You're going to do the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Can I get a motion for number 10, please?
I move that we approve the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission, ACJC, Criminal Justice and Treatment Improvement Program, Grant Agreement CJTIP-25-008 between the ACJC and Cochise County Probation Department in the amount of $36,629 effective April 17th, 2025 through September 30th, 2025.
Second.
Is that 25? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Ms. McNabb?
Is
Okay.
it correct? Is that the correct year?
It should be
It
26.
is, and actually, we did get an adjustment to the grant, and it will go through September 2026.
2026.
Yes, it didn't get attached here.
So do we
Do we need to
need to
restate it?
amend that to September 30, 26? Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Is there an amendment going to come for the board to approve at a future date? Yes.
Okay.
So if we don't adjust it here, yeah.
Oh, so we can keep this the same then? Okay, so when you bring the amendment, we'll do the amendment. This is just for the current contract
Okay.
that goes through. You're fixing that from the previous one, because this is already past this date. That's what I think Ms. Gomez was getting at, because September
Exactly.
30th was,
It's federal, so it's on a fiscal federal year.
and it covers an other, I got
Yeah.
it. All right.
Okay.
So the motion before the board is to approve the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission Criminal Justice and Treatment Intervention Program Grant Agreement CJTIP-25-05-08 in the amount of $36,629. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes 3-0. And now, thank you, Ms. McNabb. Thank you. All right, next up, can I get a motion to move agenda item number 11, please?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the retention of outside counsel Joe Canfield of Snell and Wilmer LLP to represent all Cochise County defendants in Groover versus Antonori et al., Cochise County Superior Court case number CV 202500676.
Second?
All right, and I know this is a formality now because the lawsuit has been dismissed. However, we do have to retain him so that we can pay him for services rendered up until the dismissal. But I'm sure Ms. Gilman will explain that, so.
Mr. Chair, you summarized it perfectly. I have nothing more to add.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. All right, we do have one speaker on this topic. Where is that?
It
It is Allison Morse. Ms. Morse, are you on Teams?
Yes,
Hello,
can you
Mr.
hear me again?
Yes, you have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you. Allison Morse again from Portal, and thank you for allowing me to voice my opposition to the retention of Attorney Joseph Canfield. The lawsuit, as you mentioned, for which Canfield was hired was dismissed by Cochise County Superior Court on Friday, October 10th. The plaintiffs, Stephen Dickinson and Alec Gruber, sought to withdraw their case with prejudice, and Judge Henry Whitmer of Yavapai County granted the motion to dismiss the matter. Canfield is the third outside attorney this board has hired, and taxpayers continue to be concerned about increasing costs. Timothy Lasota was hired to handle jail district tax issues, and he's already been paid $40,000 to date. Mick Rusing was hired to go after Crosby's request for $300,000 reimbursement for his legal fees, and Mr. Rusing has been paid $20,000 to date. So taxpayers have already paid $60,000 for outside attorneys this year, and Canfield will certainly add to that. I'd like to respectfully request that the chair announce the number of people who may have submitted a speaker request form in opposition to this item. And to be clear, once again, despite what was said earlier and on a recently live recorded radio show, this board has indeed collected jail tax revenue since January 2025. Prior to that, apparently over $1 million had been spent on the old jail, even though voters had been led to believe that the prior tax was for the new jail. Almost $240,000 has been paid to Chin Planning and $76,500 to Phil Bordone since January of this year from the jail tax revenue. So I'm not sure, perhaps, Mr. Chair, you're saying one thing, but for what I heard on a recent radio show, there was an absolute denial of any monies spent from the jail tax revenue this year, and that's just simply untrue. So I just wanted to clarify that. I appreciate your time, and thanks very much.
I would like the chair to just re-emphasize, because if just saying it so from a certain viewpoint doesn't mean it's so. I think she's talking about the radio show we were on.
Probably at the Cool FM one.
Cool FM Live, and that is not the case. Just because you think you see it a certain way doesn't mean that's so. We have stated again that what we spent was because of construction and jail was carried over to us, And anything else we've spent this year has come out of the general fund.
All right,
So thank
so-
you.
I mean, I get Ms. Morse's point. There is a lot of confusion on the financing. It is not a simple thing. And then I attribute that to Title 48, the special district that creates these segregated accounts, and it can be quite confusing. The reality is this: we are using that revenue currently to get as far ahead of the game as possible in anticipation that the voters are likely to reapprove this. If we waited and did nothing until that happens, we would lose a lot of ground. And as we saw with the recent fire at the jail and other issues at the jail, we can't wait. So we're trying to lean forward in the foxhole, to use an Army term, to try to get as far as we can within the confines of Title 48 and within confines of current statute, procurement statute, to try to get as much planning out of the way as possible so that once the voters approve the new jail tax, we will then immediately begin executing the process of obtaining the architects to start the design process and continue to move forward and getting the jail built. That's why we're doing the process the way we're doing it.
Thank you.
All right. Mr.
My
Crosby.
comment had to do with the
Hang on, Mr. Crosby, go ahead. She had it
Did
3
we
minutes.
already decide the issue of retention of Mr. Canfield as the jail district board?
Yes, Supervisor Crosby.
Okay, that's what I thought. So would you care to explain to everybody why we're doing it again as a board of supervisors? Just for fun.
So to bring us back, the Supervisor Crosby, the Board of Supervisors is a separate entity from the jail district, but both are on the lawsuit. While the lawsuit was dismissed, the jail district board approved the hiring of Mr. Canfield. It was always anticipated we would have the board approve it at this, or request the board's approval at this meeting. Despite the dismissal, we still have to have that approval.
So if the suit had been filed and omitted the Board of Supervisors and only been against the jail district board, then we would not have this in front of us today. Is that correct?
I would say that's correct.
All right.
You good?
All right. So any additional discussion on agenda item number 11?
No.
None. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman.
Yep. All right. The motion before the board is to approve the retention of Mr. Joe Canfield of Snell and Wilmer as outside counsel to represent Cochise County in the issue that's already been resolved. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. At least we cover the time that he's committed so far.
Mr. Chair, I just additionally note that it would be impossible to try to see ahead and go through all of this stuff and make it perfect. It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it's just not going to happen. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah. People.
So it's humans.
Yeah. Well, and it's moving. Election issues move really fast. And so, the board meetings are every other Tuesday. So unfortunately, we couldn't get the advanced scheduling on this before the plaintiffs had their case dismissed. So
If it ever happens again, we need to have a faster board of supervisors. I mean, don't we? If it ever happens again, which I hope it doesn't.
Well, so what are you saying? Meet every day?
Let's hope it never happens.
Because you can't foresee that somebody is gonna drop their case
Right.
in between these two meetings.
Right.
Right.
But so if it ever happens again, we gotta go through this again. We need to have one after the other.
maybe in the cases of election law challenges, maybe that would be a special circumstance to hold a special board meeting.
I suppose we could try to fill something in the agenda to make that clear to
If
the
it
public.
happens again. So if we get sued on an election-related issue, then we will do an expedited meeting. So, all right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Any other discussion? None? All right, hearing none, the motion before the board is to approve the outside, we already did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Oh, God, it passed 3-0. We're on to agenda item number 12.
I move to approve fiscal year 2026 traffic case processing funds funding.
12.
I'm sorry, 12.
Yeah.
Approve grant EMV-2025-GR-05, 05060 from the Department of Homeland Security through the fiscal year 2025 Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Grant Program in the amount of $1 million effective September 30th, 2025 through August 31st, 2028.
Second.
Any questions on that?
I would just love to hear a presentation if somebody's ready to make a presentation on it.
Captain G,
Whole thing.
can you get an explanation for us, for the public, please? We already heard it at work session, but let's just get it on the record.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. This is through the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA for $1 million. And the money's going to be used to fund two 287G officers to be in 287G compliance at the jail. They're detention officers, and it's going to be for 3 years. Also, $250,000 will be for travel, training, conferences, and expenses associated with promoting, talking about the border and the border issues that we face on a daily basis. There is some equipment in there for a portable x-ray machine for $42,000, and that's for EOD, for explosive ordnance disposal type events. And there was a robot in there, but that got cut from the original ask. That would have went with the x-ray machine. The salaries for the 287G compliance, those will include EREs and salary for the 3 years.
I have a question. What is 287G?
Commander Commander Bradshaw is going to answer that one.
Dude, so 287G is a warrant service officer, and they will be trained by ICE to serve immigration warrants inside the jail. And they only have authority inside the jail.
So it's just inside the jail because you know somebody's going to look that
Right,
up.
absolutely.
And they're going to say you're going to be taking kids off to school and you're going to be going into homes. And I just want to reiterate for the public that this is just within the jail.
Correct.
You're not kidnapping people off in their bedrooms, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to get a bunch of furries and blow up animals running around with signs in front of our jail. So, yeah.
So it's
avoid-
just within the jail.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, sir. Any additional questions?
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. With that, the motion before the board is to approve grant EMV 2025-GR-05060 in the amount of $1 million. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. All right, next up, agenda item 13 under the courts. Can I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve fiscal year 2026 traffic case processing funds funding agreement as provided by the Arizona Supreme Court Administrative Office of the Courts in the amount of $66,000, which includes $25,000 of matching funds from general fund and $16,000 from local judicial collection enforcement funds effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Second.
I guess we'll hear from Ms. Shipley.
Good afternoon, Chairman Antonori, Supervisors Gomez and Crosby. Court Administration is requesting that the board approve this funding agreement from the AOC. It provides wages, employee-related expenses, and operating expenses for one full-time field trainer position, which is currently filled. This position provides full-time on-site business process training on the case management system and also the state computer support for the Superior Justice and municipal courts in Cochise County. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you may have at this time.
Any questions?
This is a current position.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So the motion before the board is to approve FY26 traffic case processing funds in the amount of $25,000 in matching funds. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
All righty. And next up, we have facilities. So can I get a motion on number 14, please? Agenda item 14.
I move that we approve contract 26-01-FAC-01 with Desert Springs Construction and Remodeling LLC for the demo and remodel of the elections and treasurer's departments located at 1415 West Melody Lane, Building E, in an amount of $231,760 effective October 21st, 2025.
Second.
All right. Darrell, it's all yours.
What this is a remodel of the elections department as well as the treasurers. Because they are both very highly sensitive areas, we're kind of closing them off from each other. The treasurer's office will get their own private bathrooms in their department. The election side of things, we now will be putting up glass walls, so this ballot tabulation can be viewed like it's supposed to be. We are making some additional changes in the back part of the elections department as well. But that's, in a nutshell, that's most of it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any additional questions?
Oh, sure.
Hearing none, the motion before the board is to approve contract 2601-FAC-01 in the amount of $231,760. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next one, 15, please.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve grant agreement 3-04-004-015-2025 between the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, and Cochise County for the installation of the Fuel Farm self-service system at the Cochise County Airport in Wilcox in the amount of $70,841 effective October 1st, 2025.
Second. Excuse me, October 21st.
Oops, what did it say?
October 21st.
Correction, effective October 21st, 2025.
Second.
All right.
This is we have a fueling system for the planes at the Wilcox Airport, and this is just basically to rehab it, put in a credit card reader so they can operate 24/7, rebuild some of the pumps. This is actually a two-phase grant. That the second phase is to come yet. They haven't awarded it, but there is another part of it, so that will come somewhere in the future.
Cool.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, hearing none, the motion before the board is to approve the grant agreement 3-04-0049-015-2025 in the amount of $70,841. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passes 3. Oh, wait, did I read the wrong one?
You can.
Did I read the wrrong one?
No, you're okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. We just did 15, right?
Mhm.
All right. Now we're to 16. The agendas are blurring. Yeah. So, all right. So 16, can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve grant agreement E6M4M01D between the Arizona Department of Transportation, Aeronautics Group, and Cochise County for project number 3-04-0049-015-2025 for the installation of a fuel farm self-service system at the Cochise County Airport in Wilcox in the amount of $1,864 effective October 21st, 2025.
Second. All right, Mr. Crawley.
Okay. This is the second part of the FAA grant that you just approved. That FAA grant was only for 95%. This is to pay 2.5%, and the county will match the other 2.5%.
Okay.
All right. No other questions? All right. Motion before the board is to approve grant agreement E6M4M01D in the amount of $1,864. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. That passes 3-0. All right. Next up, item number 17, please.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve lease agreement between Cochise County and Master Aircraft Services, Inc. in the amount of $20,000 a year effective at midnight on September 2nd, 2025 and ending at midnight on September 2nd, 2045.
Second.
Cool. Mastercraft already has a lease on one of our hangars. Their business has increased so much that they've asked to lease the other one. So that's what this is.
And they do a great job.
Yes.
They're incredible. You should go check them out. Yeah.
And this is at the Douglas Airport?
No, the BDI, SB Douglas.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Hearing none, the motion before the board is to approve the lease agreement between Cochise County and Master Aircraft Services in the amount of $20,000 a year. All those in favor say aye.
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 And one quick question. He's going to make improvements that we will.
He's already painted it.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next agenda item 18, please.
I move to approve lease agreement between Cochise County and Cochise County Lesser and Cochise Air Lease LLC lessee of approximately 2 acres of land located at Cochise County Airport adjacent to the taxiway A as more particularly described in Exhibit A, leased premises for $1,500 per quarter for a 20-year term effective November 1st, 2025, with an option to renew the lease for an additional 2 terms.
Second.
Yeah. This is one of the local crop dusters is looking to lease this space just so that he can mix his stuff right there at the airport and he doesn't have to go anywhere else.
And he's going to pay quarterly?
What's that?
He's paying his rent quarterly? Yep. Okay, that's wild. Okay. All right. None? All right, motion before the board is to approve the lease agreement between Cochise County and Cochise Air LLC in the amount of $1,500 per quarter. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. That
All right.
passes 3-0. Thanks, Daryl.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
All right, next up, 19 is Health and Social Services.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve professional services agreement between Cochise Health and Social Services and Cochise Harm Reduction for the Health Department Safer Use Practices for the Smart and Safe Arizona Fund / Justice Reinvestment Fund in the amount of $145,000 effective November 1st, 2025 through October 31st, 2026.
Second it. All right.
I'm sorry.
I got it. No, that's all right. I got it. All right. So, Ms. Lang.
Yes, Chairman Antonori, Supervisor Crosby, Supervisor Gomez. So this money would go towards Cochise harm reduction to provide services for people that struggle with substance use. So they provide camping gear, they provide peer outreach, they work across Cochise County and refer to services.
Any additional questions for Ms. Lang?
No.
None? All right. With that, the motion before the board is to approve professional services between Cochise County Health and Social Services and Cochise Harm Reduction for the Health Department Safer Use Practices in the amount of $145,000. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. And that motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
All right. State and federal legislation. I got some insight on the government shutdown from an inside source up in D.C. It's going to be a long couple weeks. If they are able to get agreement on the CR and get a CR passed, there is no likelihood they will get a budget done this year. Matter of fact, they don't think they'll get a budget done before March of next year. So they will have to do additional CRs where this whole rope-a-dope will occur all over again when the CR that they pass gives them 45 days expires. So you're probably looking at multiple CRs before they get a budget out the door. So be prepared for the long haul. I don't know the mass effect on the county with grants and everything else, but I think we're going to be in groundhog mode between now and March. So just to be aware of that. Other than that, I don't have anything. Of course, Ms. Gomez and I next week going to Yuma to propose legislation as part of the Cochise County the Arizona County Supervisors Association. And you going out there too, Ms. Gilman? Yeah, Ms. Gilman's going to be there. And we're going to have discussions on the 6+1. We're going to add an additional one that came up after. So we're going to have that discussion with them. And hopefully we can get some of those agreed on by our fellow supervisors to get the support of CSA to get that legislation passed. If not, we will go it alone.
Yes.
And fight for it on our own if we have to.
Yes.
All right. That's all I got. And anybody got anything they want to add, federal or state? Nope. All right. And then we'll go to Ms. Gilman for her report.
Thank you, Supervisors. I just briefly want to let the board know and the public that the tax deed land sale is going to be happening soon. The clerk of the board has put together that list for an online auction of tax deed land sales. The preview begins tomorrow, October 22nd, of that online. You can view online what the properties are and get your ducks in a row so that when the auction starts on November 3rd, it goes November 3rd through the 14th. Everybody is ready to place their bids for that tax deed land sale.
Do the bids start at zero?
I believe there is a minimum bid for each property listed, and you can see that on the preview.
That's all right. It started at zero because they don't sell and then they just sit there again, not generating any revenue. Somebody wants to buy it, we should let them buy it. I know there's rules and
There,
state statute. I got it, but
It's
we
half
got
the
to,
value, yeah.
that's another one we should,
I know.
we should fix because if it's not generating any revenue, if it's sitting there vacant, it's got tax liens 10 years old or longer on these properties. And if a guy just wants to pay $500 for it, give it to him for crying out loud and let him start paying the property taxes on it. It's not doing anything sitting there empty and not paying taxes on it. So I get what the state's trying to do. Technically, it belongs to them. I got Ms. Trawick explained it to me, but that's an issue I have because it's our property taxes. We don't have PILT from the state of Arizona for Cochise County, so we're kind of hosed in that matter. But that's my pet peeve. Anyways.
That's all my report. I will call the board's attention to the fact that we are running very late today. We had a work session scheduled at 11 on the
Whoever
various-
thought that would happen
That
at
was a
11?
dream. It was a dream. that
It was a
we-
What is
So
the work
the
session?
work session was going to be to discuss strategy for this county supervisors association legislative summit related to that open meeting law legislation that you proposed.
Yeah.
But we can certainly cancel that one and just wait and, you
Can we
know,
get back?
yeah, and discuss it when you get back.
However, there is a document dump, which I expect you to read and I expect you to read.
I saw it.
That would be fine if you just memorize all that. That'll be okay.
So that would clean up our day a bit and we would get back on schedule at 1:00 with the comprehensive plan
Yeah,
meeting.
that's huge.
Okay.
I mean,
Do we have to do a motion to cancel that meeting?
but let me ask you
The
then,
board can just cancel it.
and then as far as strategy, when are we talking about it? I mean, I guess we can talk about it when we're there.
We sort of brushed on it when we were at the last meeting.
Yeah, okay.
We've had individual discussions amongst the three of us in other work sessions on the general topics.
Correct.
So
This was just a touch base.
it was just
Okay.
yeah, we'll be fine.
That's
It'll
fine.
be, so again, I wish I had the sheets. I had the sheets from CSA
Right.
that we were looking good on 4 and we were not looking good on 2 of the 6 that we proposed from the initial review by those board members up there. But we'll see how it goes. But we did get overwhelming support on the open meeting law one.
And that's the best.
That's the big one. That's the one we're trying to get. So hopefully we'll get that done. So with that, as board chair, I am going to cancel the 11 o'clock work session and have a post CSA out brief work session once we get back from CSA. How's that? Is that good?
Second,
All right. I guess that's canceled. So I guess the next meeting.
except for the reports? Are we doing reports yet?
Sorry.
That's
I got to
okay.
flip the page. I apologize.
I'll make it.
Summary of current events, District 1, Mr. Crosby. You got
Current
anything?
events, this is probably not an accurate article, but it says, in win for voters, Arizona Supreme Court tosses GOP election challenge to state's election manual, which that's probably not a win for voters, in my opinion. But I haven't, you got to, I doubt if it's an accurate.
I read it. It was a technicality on the period of time for the amount of public comment, not actually the specifics. That's going back to the appellate court for additional review. So the appeal was that they didn't follow the process that you're required to do certain public comment. The court ruled that it's not required for the EPM to do that, the way I read the ruling. Am I wrong on that?
Close enough, Mr.
Close.
Chairman.
All right, close enough. But they are going, it has been remanded back to answer the questions of the scope that was added and does it apply based on statute from the
legislature versus.
Yes.
There are 8 separate challenges to various provisions that have been remanded back down.
Yeah, they're all going back. So this was just a technicality that was kicked back and said that they don't have to do public comments, is what the court ruled. And it was unanimous, I think, right? It was 9.
Yeah, the central holding was unanimous.
Yeah, so, all right. You're right, though, Tom, still.
Caveat emptor.
Yeah, caveat emptor. District 2.
This Saturday, the Douglas Rotary Club has a fly-in. We've done this for about 8 years, where any young kid from, I think it's like 10 to 18 can fly in a small plane that the tribal pilots, come out, and Cochise College. And the whole main reason of doing that was to show young kids in our area that there's an aviation program, one of the best at Cochise College. So when they go up for the first time, they come out of there, they're excited, they want to be a pilot. And then we go here, you can go right here and learn how to be a pilot. So I'm just, anybody who wants to do that can apply online at the Douglas website. I'll have it up on our county website. We encourage people to bring their kids out. It is amazing how they feel when they take that small plane ride up there. The other thing I wanted to talk about was just misinformation. On Sunday, there was a police officer in Douglas where a rumor started that he had hostages. He did not have hostages. His wife and him are going through a divorce. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden it came out on Facebook, hostages. He has his wife and his kids. Cool FM Live came, Service Herald came, KOLD came, all based on misinformation. So I asked the public to please refrain from just going onto Facebook and social media and making these claims. Then the media picks it up, assumes it's real, and it was absolutely unbelievable. We had the SWAT team, we had fire trucks, and I would like to ask Ms. Gilman to make sure if she can find out anyway how much that costs the county, because people don't realize when they just go on there and just put on whatever they want. They also are calling her a former councilwoman. She's not resigned. So people need to understand that their words make a reaction, and I'd like to know how much that cost us, because I'd like to reiterate it on Facebook. Please refrain from this. And then people are saying, well, why did the sheriff go? Because the police officer worked for the Douglas police. You can't, there's a conflict, so you have to refer to another, law enforcement agency. That's why the sheriff came, because there was a whole thing about why doesn't it turn out for all of us? And this is a terrible thing. People don't understand what's going on. Maybe just wait a second and let things calm down and then find out the information. So thank you for that.
All right, I got nothing for District 3. So the next meeting will be a Board of Supervisors work session today at 1 p.m. regarding the comprehensive plan, and that's it. So with that, we are adjourned. See you at 1.